You're watching KWQC TV6, the Quad Cities news leader. Live from the KWQC Broadcast Center, this is TV6 News at 4.
Developing news we've been following this afternoon. A river rescue on the Mississippi has now become a recovery mission. First responders were called out to the area near Lock and Dam 14 just before noon today. Reports said a boat capsized with 5 people on board. KWQC's Courtney Yoon is live on the Illinois side of the river with more on the search for that missing person. Courtney?
Sharon, that's right. You can see Lock and Dam 14 right behind me here, where crews are still searching in their boats. There were 5 people on that boat. 4 were recovered alive. Here's video of one of those people being rescued on the Illinois side of the river. A 42-year-old man is still missing, and it has now been deemed a recovery mission at this point. MedForce conducted an aerial search. Unable to find the missing man, search and rescue will continue until dark and resume tomorrow morning. Crews have not found the boat yet, but are still recovering debris from it and bringing it to Empire Park.
We have very high water, very swift current, very cold water, all recipes for a fatal boat accident. And that's very well what it looks like here. Has happened already in this early boating season.
Police say the 4 people who were rescued alive went through Lock and Dam 14 rollers, a miracle that they survived. Police say this stresses the importance of life jackets. Live in Hampton, Courtney Yoon, KWQC TV6 News.
All right, thank you, Courtney. We will continue to cover this story, and we'll try to check back at the end of the show for any updates. Now, we do have team coverage on this recovery. Crews are now lifting a roller on Lock and Dam 14 outside of LeClaire. They are concerned that there is quite a large amount of debris gathered behind one of the roller dams, and the thought is if they perhaps open that up, that some of that debris will break free. There have been reports that perhaps the boat itself that capsized might be trapped in one of the roller dams there. They are supposed to open that up any minute now. We'll keep watching for that to see what, if anything, that might add to this search and recovery effort. Of course, it is a very windy day out in the Mississippi for first responders out on the scene. Chief Meteorologist Eric Maitland joins us now, and this is kind of hampering, I guess, the recovery efforts. And Eric, the wind is really gusty out there.
Yeah, we were seeing gusts that time of day, even earlier, late this morning, around 30 miles per hour or so. And of course, as the deputy mentioned there, the state trooper mentioned there, we've got very high current and very high water at about 10.4 feet at the time of the boating accident.
This is TV6 News at 5.
And we begin with developing news at this hour, a story we have been following all day long. Crews searching the Mississippi River near LeClaire for a missing boater.
It started as a river rescue this morning near Lock and Dam 14. A boat with 5 people on it ran into trouble just before noon and started taking on water. We know 4 were rescued, but 1 is still missing. KWQC's Courtney Yoon joins us now live tonight with what we need to know right now. And we know that crews have been raising the rollers trying to find anything, Courtney.
Sharon, I'm right here next to Lock and Dam 14 over here in Hampton, Illinois. They recently lifted rollers 5 and 6 inside of the dam to try and find 44-year-old Charles Slocum of Kelowna. All they found was debris from the boat and no body of the missing man. Of the 4 people who were rescued alive earlier today, including Charles Slocum's wife and son, Sally Slocum and Austin, who were released from the hospital with minor bumps and bruises. The 2 other people who were on the capsized boat were friends of the family. One is still in the hospital for observation. All 4 of the survivors went through the rollers of the dam.
Oh, it is a miracle, but I'm going to guess, and I don't have this information, that they probably had life jackets on. We had information that the missing person had a life jacket on, and we recovered one single life jacket off the river, and of course he wasn't in it. So that just goes to show you how important life jackets are.
Francisco says the man who's still missing was wearing a youth-sized life jacket. The people who survived were wearing the appropriate size. He also says crews will continue the recovery effort only until dark tonight because of dangerous conditions. And if they don't find Charles Slocum, they'll begin again tomorrow morning. Live in Hampton, Courtney Yoon, KWQC TV6 News.
Courtney, thank you. And with more on those dangerous conditions, we want to bring in meteorologist Kevin Phelps for a part of our coverage. In this video, Kevin shows us just how incredible. Look at these waves. This is the Mississippi River, and considerable waves out there throughout the day today.
Yeah, certainly. We even had a few white caps out there this morning as those winds were really gusting from the east, unfortunately, to around 30 miles per hour. So we can take a look at those conditions this morning at Lock and Dam 14. We'll zoom in right here on our map. So around 11 o'clock, we were actually still below flood stage, and we still are at about 10 feet, but the water temperature was 53 degrees.
That's low.
When temperatures get that cold in the water, it only takes about 10 to 15 minutes to lose dexterity in any sort of your fingers or your toes. So that's some very cold water. And then, of course, the air temperature was 59 degrees. The winds were gusting to near 30 miles per hour, and really it hasn't changed at all. Even currently, we're still seeing winds gusting to around 30 miles per hour. Even though the water temperatures improved 1 degree, again, that's not going to make any sort of difference as far as hypothermia goes.
Are the winds, Kevin, going to cut down a little bit because these guys still out on the water trying to do this recovery rescue effort? What about tonight?
They'll slightly slow down during the overnight hours, but this evening, not likely. Maybe a shift to the southeast, but still going to gust to around 20 to 30 miles per hour.
All right, Kevin, thank you. We continue our team coverage now. KWQC's Taylor Umland is out there on the scene talking about those conditions and what officials are saying about what they are dealing with today.
Gary, I'm here at the Army Corps of Engineers building on the south side of LeClaire. This has become a staging point for several of the boats that have been going out on the water today. And as you can see behind me, the water is very high and moving very, very fast. And mix that with cold water, and I'm told it makes for really treacherous conditions in the water. I was speaking to an Illinois DN officer today who said that at the time of the recovery, Charles Slocum was possibly not wearing a life jacket, maybe wearing one that was too small, and harsh water conditions make it nearly impossible to survive in conditions like this. Emergency crews were called out around 11:26 this morning. 4 people from the boat were found fairly quickly, but one has yet to be found. That's Charles Slocum. Tonight, the Illinois DNR is preaching a message of boating safety. They say it's very early in the boating season and that everybody needs to remain safe at all times to try and avoid a tragedy like the one in the Mississippi today.
You shouldn't be out on the water right now, but if you are, you have to have a life jacket on, and that means everybody in the boat at all times properly fastened.
Now, there have been some family members walking around this staging point today wondering how their family members are and where exactly Charles Slocum is. I know there are still crews out on the water right now doing some searching, and the water is very high, very fast, and so hopefully they can stay safe while they continue their search. We'll be listening and trying to get any details we can tonight at the 6 o'clock news. Live in LeClaire, Taylor Umland, KWQC, TV6 News.
All right, Taylor, thank you. We will, of course, continue to monitor this very closely and bring you new information as it comes in tonight.